What's up, the internet? It's Kyle. This is episode 2 of News at the Nexus. It's a week delayed. I get it. Get off my back. It was Christmas, alright? Just walk away. It was Christmas. There was celebrating. It was joy and wonderment. But we're finally getting around to talking about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, Rise of the Skywalker, The Non-Mandalorian, whatever you want to call it. This is Amanda and I in the car on the ride home immediately following the movie. Like, we're talking, we walked to the car after the movie, got in the car, and podcasted. When we're trying not to be spoilery, we're trying to be cognizant of those of you who are lazy bums, who haven't gone to see the film yet, or some type of schmuck who has only seen the film once and wishes to see it again, or whatever your dysfunction is, that means that this would be a spoilery episode at this point. We're trying to avoid that. Also, like I said, we were fresh out of the movie, so it's one of those things, we didn't want to spoil anything for anyone. So, here's the deal. It's only a half an hour. There's no video for it like there is for a lot of these, so the audio is just going to get dubbed over on YouTube, just like the audio is getting dubbed into SoundCloud. So I get it, it's not as good as we normally do, but what can you do? It was late, we were tired, and it was Star Wars. New episode will be up next Tuesday next Tuesday morning on both YouTube and here on SoundCloud if this is where you're listening to it. And the next episode will be live Tuesday night. We will be live here from the Nexus 419 talking about things and stuff and junk. Probably about Christmas. I would imagine we will talk about Christmas and 2020 and memes and whatever else we decide to talk about. We'll have to come up with that. But, so stick around. Give us a second. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We will see you all very, very soon. Bye, everybody. What's up, the internet? Welcome into News at the Nexus. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is my co-pilot, Sergeant-at-Arms, the Finn to my Poe.
Aww.
But maybe without the weird sexual overtones. Amanda.
The Chewie to your Han.
You know who you are.
The Lando to anybody.
You're the Jerry Curl to my Lando. If you couldn't tell, we are just coming out of Star Wars, Rise of the Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Whatever. The Star Wars Episode 9. The Jar Jar Abrams return to Star Wars.
You can tell.
So we are going to talk about our thoughts and feelings on the movie. We just came out of it.
Literally.
Yes, just came out of the movie. And we're also going to drive home at the same time. So hopefully this works out.
All right, Kyle.
So Amanda.
Okay, we're
We're going to start with Amanda. If you've never seen a movie with Amanda,
okay.
bring a poncho.
Okay, you know what? No, it's not true because not every movie will bring me to tears. Star Wars usually can with just the sound of the orchestra starting and the opening scroll. But then again, it was my first fandom. Return of the Jedi was the first movie that, Return of the Jedi was the first movie that I would choose to watch when we're finally at that age where you could sit through an hour and a half. It was always Return of the Jedi.
What's that like?
Right. So from the time I was very, very young, Star Wars has been had a very special place in my heart. So yes, I am. Only Star Wars can emotionally move me the way that you have experienced with me, Kyle. I feel the movie, guys. Every moment that's meant to, hit you right kind of in the feelings, I'm going to feel it. Every moment of anger, shock, surprise, I'm going to live it, especially the first time I watch it. So that's who I am.
Guys, we were 30, 40 seconds into the movie and Amanda's jumping And I'm going, you knew that was coming. It's
did.
the same as every Star Wars ever.
I did. But there's things but it's like, I don't know. For me, I guess, like, we all know this is kind of bringing an end to the Skywalker.
It's true.
So, I haven't done this in 2 years since Last Jedi.
It's true.
So, yeah, no.
No one has done this in 2 years.
Well, right. But I feel the movie.
That's fair.
So the opening scroll starts and a tear rolled. It was just one, but it was one nice tear.
I'm not sure it was just one.
Well, but then they immediately...
I might have swimmer's elbow.
Okay. Are we going to go full spoiler on this?
No.
No.
No spoilers.
Oh, well then I don't know how we're going to discuss this because there's some things. The first time I saw Leia, that made me cry in and of itself.
Sure, but we knew that was coming, so that's not really a spoiler.
We knew Leia was in it. Yeah, yes. I guess that's fair.
Yes. There were several other characters who, when you see them, you go, oh, that's awesome! And then you go, oh, wait, I knew that was coming.
All right.
I think, Kyle personally.
Who giggles like a school child the entire time.
I do, because this is who I am in movies. I'm the guy who's thinking 6, 8, 10 steps ahead, like a screenwriter, trying to figure out what the hell they're thinking. And when I'm right, I giggle. When I'm surprised, I giggle.
Right, so you want to...
When I'm angry, I do nothing.
So if you want to experience the movie the way the filmmakers probably want you to, you go with me. When you want to have a child giggling in your ear the entire time, you go with Kyle.
That ain't wrong. But that's why, people come to me all the time. Kyle, have you seen the new trailer for... No. That's why I don't watch trailers. It's why I don't participate so much. It's because then I can come into this movie with this childlike sense of wonder and say, okay, that was what I expected, or that wasn't what I expected.
Okay.
So when I go to see a Star Wars film or a Marvel film or a movie I'm really looking forward to, like one of the trailers we saw was for 1917, which is this World War I period piece that's getting these just outstanding reviews.
Oh, it looks like it'll be an amazing movie.
Unbelievable reviews.
The movie I'm watching at home by myself.
Right, but I won't see another clip. I won't hear another interview. I won't anything that movie. Okay? I will wait until that movie comes out, and I'll go see it, and I'll probably go see it by myself. That's just how I like to take in movies.
We're very similar in that regard. So the only Star Wars trailer you've seen for Rise of Skywalker was which one?
The one that has been the TV commercial.
Okay. The only Star Wars trailer I have seen was what was released at Celebration.
Right.
So back in April.
Yeah.
Somewhere there. So the teaser that gets you Rey and the TIE Fighter, that gets you Palpatine's laugh.
Yeah.
That's what I knew going in.
Right.
I knew nothing. So right. I had really no. So for movies that I'm excited about, there are movies that I will do the same thing as you, is block out any trailer, any media. Like, I'll give myself the teaser, and that's usually about it. It also helps that I don't have cable.
Wow.
So the majority of my media consumption is done, on streaming services where they had the sneak preview for this movie with The Mandalorian that released yesterday on Disney Plus, but I didn't watch it.
Right. So let's talk about the movie without talking about the movie. And the way we do that was, so The Force Awakens. We go back all the way to The Force Awakens.
Yes.
You can't count the first 6 movies for this, because it was all new territory on those movies. But you get to The Force Awakens, and now you've got 6 movies that influence The Force Awakens.
Yes.
So, Force Awakens was, to many, a disappointment. A rehash of what we had seen in previous films. Maybe not necessarily a rehash, but basically they went to the same concepts and did them again.
See, that was the thing I liked the most about The Force Awakens, because I loved The Force Awakens.
I'm not saying I didn't love it.
I loved it.
But I'm starting with the criticisms.
No, that's fair. Start with the criticisms, because for me, I can see them and understand them. What people were criticizing about it were the things that I loved the most about it. It's the Star Wars movie up until this point that because we can't count this one. I've seen this one once. But The Force Awakens I saw twice opening weekend. Once midnight, once IMAX. And then as soon as I was able to purchase this film and put it in a DVD player, Blu-ray player, have you.
Didn't we buy that one to get, no. You bought them at Target?
I did. I bought them at Target because I bought the Target exclusive. And
you bought me the Target exclusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then for my birthday, I had asked for the Disney Store exclusive with the lithos. I have 2 copies of The Force Awakens.
As do I, but I have the Steelbook.
Okay. But it's also the movie that for, I want to say the next year and a half, was kind of my go-to. Like, I'm going to put this on when I want to just chill in bed.
Yeah.
And fall asleep because I've seen it and I know what's happening. Sure. And I would just put it on.
Yeah.
I liked the blend. Like, I liked hitting the familiar tones. So the same concepts, the, orphan on the desert planet, doesn't know their family really. Those, yes, it's a rehash, but they're also, I'm trying to find the right words for it.
It's a re-envisioning.
Right. It was
of what you had experienced in A New Hope. Right.
There was enough new for me to be, where are we going with this? What's this?
Sure.
Who is this? What did they mean? Why is this important? Who was this person? But there was also enough of that familiarity that it was like, this is Star Wars.
Sure.
This is what 1, 2, and 3 were missing, was some of those familiar plot points.
Right, but to and I can't believe I'm about to do this. To defend the prequels, you're dealing with a part of the universe that hadn't been touched yet.
No, very true.
It's you're starting in the middle of a story, going back and telling the beginning, and now here we are telling the end. So, but that brings me to kind of my point there, is how do you rate this film compared to The Force Awakens? And the reason we're making that comparison first is they're both Jar Jar Abrams.
Yes.
And this is where it gets real, kind of, it was the beginning and the end.
Yeah, okay.
Of this brick. When you look at the Star Wars movies, they've always come in bricks. You had, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
You had, Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and
Revenge of the Sith.
I know I'm doing them out of order, and I know it's making you nuts.
It really is. I don't like it.
But now you have this block. So where do you compare this? How do you compare Rise of Skywalker to Force Awakens?
There is a feel to Rise of Skywalker that it feels the most like The Force Awakens, where it has these moments that very much pay tribute to the predecessor, but in a new way, in a different way, which I appreciate. I I like the familiarity mixed with the new and bold and original kind of concept. So, like, for me, that works. So,
Yeah.
I think, it's hard because it's like I enjoyed this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I felt this movie, start to finish, every emotion. Every
Would you
emotional cue I
say-
took.
But okay, let me try, because I don't think you understand what I'm asking.
Which one do I like better? Is that what we're asking?
No. How do you compare it? So, for instance, to me, of the three in this block, The Rise of the Skywalker and Force Awakens felt like more similar films.
Yes.
Much in the same way that Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars felt like very similar films.
And kind of probably I was going to say, well, I mean, you could even probably go back as far as A New Hope to Return of the Jedi.
Well, that first block, though, I think they all felt very similar. And I think that had a lot to do with the way they were made.
I mean, Empire definitely takes a tonal shift.
Yeah, but it kind of had to.
It did. But it also, Empire had some weird things that when you really look at it, kind of go, really? Why?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
What? But this one had that too. There was a couple of moments where you're like, you kind of scrunch your face, you do the puppy head tilt, and you go, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go with it. Yeah, it definitely felt, and then, like I said, I think that's what I was kind of saying, in that, you have that, there's a feel to it, and this felt very much like The Force Awakens. And not just because of the tone of the film, because there were some dark and heavy things dealt with in this film.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I think the general feel of the movie was very much similar to The Force Awakens, but that probably that directorial influence.
Okay.
It felt like part of like the same story, where Last Jedi definitely seemed to step a little to the side for me.
So that was going to be my next question, is now, when you look back at Last Jedi, you had a movie that was tonally very different to Force Awakens. I mean, very, very different tonally.
Yes. Oh yes. I even put Last Jedi for me just very much. It definitely feels like it took a sidestep to almost all of the franchise.
Sure.
I didn't hate The Last Jedi. I didn't love The Last Jedi.
Right. I quite enjoyed Last Jedi. To be real honest, I kind of liked the tonal shift. In that, for the first time in my Star Wars watching life, I felt like we had a direction that the movie was taking that veered.
It did.
It felt very linear in the prequels, and in the originals, it felt very linear. And this is like, hey, we could go very linear, but we're going to stop. And we're going to spend a minute here. And we're going to pause and really dig in.
Okay.
And a lot of people, that's what they didn't like. They want the very linear, the A to B to C. And I liked A and a half, spending some time there, spending a little bit of time at B, and now we're at C. It's, to me, it felt a lot like the way I like to travel.
Right. Okay.
Amanda's traveled with me enough to know I like to start. I like to get a fair amount in, stop for a quick second, maybe stop for another quick second, and then get a long way in.
Yeah.
So it felt to me very like a respite, a resting point.
Well, I have a question then for you.
Uh-huh.
How many times have you watched The Last Jedi? And how many times did you watch The Force Awakens before that?
Force Awakens I saw 5 times.
Not just in theater, I'm just talking
No.
general.
I haven't watched
it.
Since it was in theaters.
Okay.
That's another thing. I don't go back and revisit
Okay.
A ton. I think I've probably seen the prequels each about 3 times. The 3 movies from the 90s.
Okay.
Phantom Menace, you know.
It's still
the
it's
originals I've seen 30 or 40 times.
I don't know how many times I've watched these
Right.
movies.
I'm talking the whole block probably 30 or 40 times. But I saw Last Jedi probably 5 times in theaters. Or 5 times.
Okay.
I saw Force Awakens probably 5 times.
Okay.
I like to see it in theaters 2 or 3 times, and then watch it once or twice on DVD or Blu-ray at home.
Okay. So I don't know how many times I've watched The Force Awakens. I've seen The Last Jedi once. When I went and saw it by myself in the movie theater. Now I bought it, I own it. I have it on Blu-ray. So for me it's going to be really interesting when I can sit down and I can watch The Force Awakens. Maybe then the next day watch The Last Jedi, and then the third day go and take this one in.
Sure.
For for my second viewing or third
Sure.
whatever. Because I want to see how it all
flows.
How it all ends up flowing.
Right, and right now this is how this feels. We're 20 minutes removed from having seen the movie.
Right, yeah.
So right now this is how it feels. I may watch it and it may feel more of a stutter.
Yeah.
Watching them straight through. Which is what I'll do now. Right, but
that's what I'm most looking forward to, because like my initial thoughts on this is if I'm going to rank, and it's actually almost the same ranking that I would give the original trilogy, with one minor shift, but I would put Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi in my order of favorite in this block.
Well, so that brings us to the new movie, like really.
Right.
I think the writing on this movie was stronger than we've seen in the first 2.
Yeah. It had a lot to do, though.
Yeah, it did have a lot to do, and it had a lot of... I think for the first time in a long time, Star Wars has had to cover new ground.
Yeah.
It really did. And so, this movie, I thought the writing was a lot stronger. I thought the direction was a lot stronger than we've seen.
Yeah.
Even in the last J.J. Abrams movie.
No, yeah, very much so.
I think the acting may have been a little more stunted.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't say that.
One actor, one performer, and when I say that, I'm talking about the main cast.
Okay.
One actor or performer to me felt like they had it, and the rest of them felt a little stunted. And what I mean by that is it felt like several of them, their character hadn't progressed since we last encountered them. They're the same exact people they are when we last encounter them. And there's been a time shift. It's not
like
immediately following
the way The Last Jedi immediately follows The Force Awakens.
Right.
We're minutes out. Like
this
Starkiller Base has been destroyed and The Last Jedi is picking up.
Right. Like this is, you don't even know. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. It could be an undisclosed amount of time. Some of these characters are progressing. One of these characters is progressing. The others, however, are not. It didn't feel like that.
At least not. I don't know that at the start. I feel like
no, that's what I'm saying. They felt stunted. So their growth happens over the course of the film.
Yeah.
Whereas you had one character who was so far out in the lead. It's like, here's what it feels like to me. That thing where you go off to college and you go back and you see all your high school friends who never left town, and they're the same dudes they were in high school.
Yeah.
And you're like, you've studied Kant. You've studied philosophy. And you're like, no, man, I think, therefore I am. And they're like, we're going to go shotgun some beer. And then it's, you have you spend some time with them and you see that they have grown and they do grow, but it's like you've grown so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like one actor really, really had it down, and the rest of them were playing catch up, and as such, their performances were a little stunted.
I understand what you're saying, and I can feel that. For me, though, it's a little different,
But this is the thing I will say: there are tertiary characters that I will call them at this point. Characters that aren't the main guys in this film, whose ability and skill and experience and that really do bring up everything else. For instance, I don't think it's going to come as a shock that Dominic Monaghan is in this film.
it was for me because I had no idea.
He was in the last one.
I don't remember him being in the last one.
Yeah, he was like one of the dudes on the deck of the ship.
And that's fair. Like, he was just one of the dudes on the deck that I just didn't commit to memory.
Right, sure.
There was something else happening that
I'm
took
like,
my
hey,
attention.
isn't that the Frodo Baggins guy?
It's not the Frodo Baggins guy, but
Wasn't he a Baggins?
He was a hobbit, but
what's the difference?
He was a brandy buck. That's the difference. Different family line.
Whatever. But like, he is such a gifted actor that even in the small role he plays in this film, he is bringing up some of these other people that I felt were a little bit off.
Okay.
Which makes them feel less off.
Mm-hmm.
Without spoiling it, there's great droid play. The droids are amazing as always.
Mm-hmm. Droids are always a winner.
But I thought if I had to rank this block, I would go with Rise of the Skywalker.
Oh.
Force Awakens.
Okay.
Last Jedi.
Okay.
I think Last Jedi had the weakest writing, weakest direction. It was nice because it's the kind of movie I like, especially in a multi-part epic.
It certainly serves a very important role, because we're talking about a movie that really kind of takes place over a matter of a day?
The first two take place over the course of like a week.
Right, but I mean just the movie, Last Jedi itself.
Last Jedi is...
I mean, because it
like
takes
3 days.
Yeah, like it's a very short amount of time.
And the problem is that it's in space, so you can never tell if it's freaking day or night.
Well, that's true. It's very true. And no one
everybody in
sleep.
space has low T.
And
or what's that thing where you have to get the special lights? They advertise them on TV where you have to get special lights because you don't see the sun.
Yeah, that they have to do it in, like,
Alaska.
Alaska, yeah, those above the polar ice cap, like.
Right. No, everybody in space has that, but no, I think it's the best of this set, only because I think it was the most true to Star Wars stories.
And that's the thing, is I want to see this one again, because I think because it's very possible that the only reason that I rank The Force Awakens above is just because it was the first one in so long. It was the true sequel, and it's like, it's that first. So there was very much an emotion there that this doesn't have, because we knew it was coming.
Sure.
So I don't know if it's an emotional reason that's why I picked The Force Awakens over Rise of Skywalker, but I'd like to see it again. Start really kind of digging into this movie.
Okay. Without spoiling anything.
Oh, God, okay.
Do you think there's room left in the story for further films? And what I mean by that is with this group.
Yes.
What, if anything, if you could walk into Jar Jar Abrams' office and say, "This is what I want." What do you want?
I want the continuing adventures of Poe and Finn.
Right. I want Poe and Finn.
I want Poe.
Well, I want Poe and Finn to remake Cagney and Lacey.
Right. Like I want the buddy cop movie.
Right.
That is them tooling around in space.
Right.
Maybe
Space Dude.
Maybe Chewie comes along too.
Right. No, here's what I want. I want Chewie and the person he was with at the end of the film. During the big culmination of the film. Star Wars Old Folks Home. Retirement, Cloud City.
Except for there was a spoiler.
Right.
Chewie's not in his golden years yet. He's only 250.
Right, I understand.
Wookiees live a lot longer.
I just want to see. Okay, small spoiler. Pause here and skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want a spoiler. Pause. Skip here. I want Chewie and Lando on Cloud City playing games. I want them playing
bingo in the retirement home
and shuffleboard. All right, welcome back. If you skipped ahead, so you didn't hear that small spoiler. But no, I think if I had to go into J.J. Abrams' office and say, "This is what I want to find out why the end of the movie went where it went. I want to find out why the character that we see at the end of the movie ends up where they end up. And do they stay there? Do they leave? What happens from there? Because the movie's called The Rise of the Skywalker.
There's no the.
Whatever. What difference does it make?
It matters.
It doesn't really.
A little bit.
Syntax-wise, yes, but...
I was going to say, the Skywalker, much different than Skywalker.
I don't think it is. I mean, you're lucky I'm not calling them Luke Skywalkers. Alright? But no, I want to know why at the end of the film it gets left where it gets left. Is that so that there can be a next chapter? Because, we're on an odd number.
They were never going to have an even.
I would love to have an even number.
As much as I would enjoy an even number as well, it will never
Star
happen.
Wars X!
I don't care. If I'm being really honest, I'm totally and completely satisfied with where it ends.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm good. I don't need any more.
That's fair.
If they wrote more, would I go see it? Of course I would go see it. But at this point, if they said, nope, we are truly leaving these characters behind, we will never see this. For me, like I said, I want to start seeing, I want the Foe movie. I want Poe and Finn. I want them, yes.
I think we have to call it Pin.
We could call it Pin. I don't care which one you want to call it. But I want to see them, let's see them, being space pirates or something. I don't know.
Spice Runners?
Runners of Spice.
Right. All right, guys. That will do it for this audio-only version of the news from the Nexus. Thank you for tuning in. Go and see Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of the Skywalker, I
hate you.
I had to do it. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.